4.
Data jobs of the future. Welcome to the Data 4's. I'm Charlie Yielding.
And I'm Charlie Apigian. And today we are talking about data jobs of the future. 4 data jobs of the future.
Specifically 4.
4. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it in our 15 minutes. We promise. How are you doing, Charlie?
Doing pretty good, but we've only got 15 minutes. So let's bounce into some
I know.
of this.
Can I at least acknowledge that we're in a brand new-ish studio?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, we are in Belmont's brand new Jack Massey Center. So thank you, Belmont University.
Oh, yeah.
And as we were building this building, which I have a fancy new office in, we said we want a podcast room. And so they've built it out. We're still waiting on some of the tech, but we thought we had to be the first to use it. So we are here. And hello, everybody. Look at us now in our little Sound-E room. It's not Jeremy's fancy room, but
no.
It's not terrible either.
Yeah, it's quite nice. So if we're going there earlier when you were doing the beginning claps, it's worth noting that those claps were like baby claps.
Yes,
because there's so much sound dampening.
There's so much sound dampening that it does feel a little bit weird. And of course, we're not wearing headphones like we usually do, so it's a little bit different. Okay, we only took 1 minute. We're going right into the 4 data jobs of the future. And so, Charlie, what do you think we mean by that?
Well, so I'm a little confused because we were writing down job descriptions that we thought would go on the list, and then you've come in and you've crossed out data scientist.
Yes. How do you like that? Now, jobs of the future. And so not saying that a data scientist is a dinosaur at this point. It's just what I think we're going to see more of because we're starting to see the automated process of running analysis. By the way, in ChatGPT now, instead of it being called code interpreter, it's actually called data analysis.
Oh, cool.
Just changed a day ago. So we're already going down that route where anybody can do the analysis part, the technical part, the part that I have been holding close to me to make me look better than everybody else out there in the world. It's now available to others. So what is it that we can do instead? It really goes to that idea that we've talked about with our good friend Zach, the storytelling, or it's translating. It's taking data and translating it into insights or models. And then we don't have to be the one that does the fancy work anymore. We just have to be the one that can translate it to business value, to action, and all of the other components that we hope take data and those insights to new levels. What do you think?
I think that it's that's right on the mark with what we were saying 6 months ago. Yeah. In that there's a lot of stuff that just people just won't have to do anymore, and the expertise barrier or their barrier of expertise is coming down. So there's lots of good questions to ask in that because like I want to know how you feel about that expertise not dissolving completely but losing its value. And, because there's a lot of time and effort you have in that, and there's going to be a lot of people in that same exact situation.
Yeah. And, is it a new job or is it part of jobs? We'll have to see, you know, and again, this is of the future, right? So, yes. And I think we'll go right into number 2 because this is it has to be quick hits, of course. And this one's going to take us a little bit. Because when we talk about anybody out there, if you want to know the entry-level job for a data person, it usually has the word analyst in it. And so the role of the data analyst will change over the next few years tremendously. What will it change into? What will be the specializations? Charlie, that's what I thought we could talk about when it comes to. So number 2 is still the data analyst, but not just the business analyst, the systems analyst. It's what other type of analyst?
Well, I think that's indicative of how many new jobs there are out there because a part of scale is identifying subgroups as they become more popular and siloing those off as a specialty. Yeah. And so if this is happening naturally, then it's just a sign that more and more data jobs are on the horizon.
Yeah. And yes, we are going to talk in the fearful way how AI is going to take jobs, but think about all of the new verticals in technology. One that's already there, but I think it's going to continue to become more important because of the way we can now process data is IoT. And so, and I know you're more of an expert on IoT than me. Yeah. What is IoT?
So IoT is the Internet of Things. Okay. It's radios in your microwave. It's, radios in a remote device, or like a vending machine that tells, somebody back home at the distribution center that it's, getting low on soda or something like that. And so instead of having somebody physically go check, you can just communicate back and forth. And it's in tiny little bits of information. So it's not taking up a whole lot of traffic or anything like that. But with the way we're moving, IoT is becoming more and more present. We just did the remodel, and every kitchen appliance I have has an IoT radio in it.
And see, that's where it's becoming really interesting. What device is not going to communicate with other?
Well, the big one is going to be vehicles. Once IoT, so there's a big 5G wave right now, and if we had 5G millimeter capabilities like we did in the 4G spectrum, then we would have auto driving cars, no problem, because they can communicate back and forth so fast that you don't need onboard processing to do, which means you can communicate with large groups of cars and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It would also enable high accuracy remote surgeries and things like that. And so there's going to be a lot of jobs that pop up supporting those systems front to back, because they're going to be entirely new infrastructures.
Wow. Yeah. We'll keep going down. Next one I think is interesting is we could say AR and VR. We're going to continue to see more. And so when we say the word analyst, not a lot of times they're the ones that are not creating the technology, but they're creating the go-between, the documentation, the testing. They're doing all of the stuff once it is getting ready for production. So in the AR, VR world, that becomes who's that person that makes it where you and I can actually use that stuff and be that go-between. So as more applications are going out, simulation is becoming obviously, and training is getting into that space, you're going to need those analysts to be able to help in that space as well.
Yeah. So there's a lot of data in public record as far as sewage and pipes and all that kind of stuff goes. And one of the coolest ways that I've seen AR be used is kind of like X-ray. And so they're digitizing maps, from paper in some cases, and they're laying out the pipes in an AR framework. So when you're working around the pipe, you don't accidentally hit this thing over here or cut that wire over there, because you can literally see everything under the ground.
Yeah, and see that's so many aspects of what we're doing, or even just simulation training for the military. I mean, we know that's already happening, and it could be either AR. Sorry, I'm so used to saying AI. I know. AR is augmented reality, which means you still see reality, but then there can be stuff within that. So there could be a little goblin running across that's of course something simple, but it also could be avatars that you have to talk to in a simulated environment for company training, where VR is everything is virtual or fake. Yeah,
absolutely. So we could be sitting across from each other in an AR environment where you're projected in my glasses to just be sitting there if you had a camera.
Who says I'm actually here right now?
That's a big question.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I'm obviously here right now. So I'm gonna skip over the next one and go to the next two, because I think there's a little bit easier, and we'll end with what's C on our list. But I think geospatial is going to become huge, especially in the AI space, where autonomous vehicles, robots, things like that. And so the ability to do more in the geospatial area is going to become enormous.
Well, that's the car analogy from earlier.
Yeah. And so much more utility, even just the warehouse and understanding how to position through a warehouse. And, there's so many aspects. We're on a campus right now. Could you imagine if we had better ideas of the geospatial infrastructure here and what we could do and not do?
So just to clarify though, geospatial is every location is assigned as a data point.
Yes.
And then you literally map your environment data.
Yeah. It's the true smart city approach, in which we're going to continue to get. There'll be cameras that'll be part of that, but most right now it's more on I think of it as the mapping side of it, to simplify it.
That's cool.
And I think, there'll be a lot in bioinformatics, but healthcare, we're going to see so much more, especially in the AI space. So the ability to translate that down to nurses, to patients, There's so much that goes into that. That's where a data analyst can be our best friend.
Yeah. So the healthcare, for those of you who are not in Nashville, is pushing AI or AI and data science in a way that other industries are not, because they can find a lot of savings by doing, by optimizing those interactions, we'll say.
Yeah.
But they're also ahead of the curve on the geospatial stuff too, because they quickly learned that if they didn't know what the square foot of every room was worth, then they couldn't manage efficiently.
Yeah, that's very true. All right, and then last on our list, because we're going to try to get done in 15 minutes.
Well, I think we're doing pretty good.
We threw quantum computing on here, and I think it's our first time to say that term on the podcast. And we know that maybe one day quantum computing would be a thing. And so for me, I think that to dummy it down, it's computing, but it's at a level that is so beyond the classical computing because of the ability to run the same processes all at the same time. So at a parallel level. And there's so much more to it. Charlie, help me explain it.
Yeah. So it's a processor built out of light. And so normally we've got bits that are either ones or zeros. Yeah. Or is it bytes? It's bytes.
Bytes.
Bits, whatever a single one is. I'm sure I'm going to get hate for that one, but
quantum computing is qubits, right?
Yeah, it's either one or the other on the bit side, but a qubit is 1 and 0 at the same time.
Can be. Yes.
Yes. And from a physics perspective, that's a cascading effect. It's an exponential growth in compute power, because it can be you can essentially run multiple processes at the same time.
Yeah.
And so to put that into perspective, the strongest supercomputer that is built right now would be like if we had a home computer that was an optic or a quantum computer, that would be more powerful than the best we've got right now by orders of magnitude.
Yeah. Yeah. And that changes the game. And so a completely different topic we'll get into at a different time.
But talk about how it breaks the...
it gets rid of passwords because it'll break all cryptography in milliseconds. That's the kind of speed we're talking about.
Yeah.
But it also gives you that computing power to do the type of machine learning at, again, at a second, what it used to take 30 minutes. So it's think of what that will obviously change.
Yeah. Quantum computing at scale is going to change the world.
Yes. Will it happen in our lifetime?
I hope so.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. All right. Keep going. Number 3 out of the 4. This is a new one, really, but it is an AI or data ethicist. Did I say that right?
Yeah,
I think so.
You were on top of it.
Which means we have a lot of things from the ethical perspective that we have to worry about. And we are going to need to hire people. There'll probably be one person in every company moving forward.
You think so?
Yeah, not today.
Yeah,
but there has to be something. It's not just compliance anymore. It's so much deeper than that. Is it because you're going to be able to do things with private data, or even if it's not private, just is it the wrong thing or right thing? Is that a legal person? Is it a technologist? I don't know.
Yeah.
But there will be an ethicist role, I think, more so than we have today. That's for sure.
Seems like lawmakers are about to have their hands full.
Yes.
With a bunch of ethical dilemmas regarding data.
And who's going to do that? The corporate or the government? That'll be interesting. We've already had those conversations.
Yeah.
That's number 3. All right. You ready for the last one?
Yep.
This one is one that we've thought long and hard. I'll let you do it. What do you think is the number 4? So the one, you always leave the last one is the one that's the most intriguing, right?
Yeah.
Or we'll see if that's what we're doing. Number 4.
It's every job that we have.
Every job in the future will be different.
Yeah.
Every job. And that's why we started this podcast initially, is because we knew at that time we were saying data is inevitable. Now with AI, we don't even have to make that case anymore, do we?
No, Google's released, or not Google, OpenAI has released the enterprise version of ChatGPT.
Yep.
There's the Facebook version that is Llama 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Llama 2 that you can have on premise.
Yep.
Like
Claude 2 does really good. Even played with one called Perplexity. We're going to have so many large language models out there that are domain specific, not just the open market ones. That every job is going to be doing something, and it will be AI or data related.
Yeah. Your effectiveness at wielding AI is going to matter.
Yes. Yeah. And so that is our data 4's. We actually did it in 15 minutes, Charlie.
Did we?
Yeah, and that's with 2 minutes of me talking.
Well, wait,
about
I've got something else I can talk about.
Oh, what's that?
It's just like the every job thing. Every interaction I've had at work in the past couple of months has been, how can we use AI to help us do this? Every
conversation I have is about AI. Every talk I'm doing in the next 2 months is about AI. It is real, and the questions I get are not doom and glooms, just confusion.
Yeah, like where are we at?
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to definitely have some maybe data 4's that are about AI.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of them.
Absolutely,
or plenty of content.
I'm gonna say we're putting a pin in this one, and we've got the data 4. So we started with the data translator, went quickly into the data analyst, then the data ethicist, and then every job is a data job. And that's the 4 data jobs of the future. Last parting shots, got to do it to you.
Got nothing.
Got nothing. Thanks, everybody, for listening to the Data 4's. I'm Charlie Apigian.
And I'm Charlie Yielding.
And until next time.